Welcome, welcome, welcome to Hoops Zooted. I'm your host, Evan Moore, and I'm here on New Year's Eve. Cleaned my bong this week at least. Yeah, I'm smoking some Studio 54. As you can tell, I'm a little unenthused tonight because, yeah, just watched the Lakers just get their asses whipped by the Pelicans in embarrassing fashion. So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy fucking New Year. Shit. Let me just, before I get started here and start talking about this stuff, I need to take a few hits. So, little musical interlude, and I'll be right back. Okay. Nope. Didn't mean that to start up again. Okay. Anyway, a little better now. But anyway, since the last time I talked to you, there have been, 5 games, and we've gone 2-3 since the last time I've talked to you. We had a really nice win over the Thunder. It kind of gave us some false hope and optimism. 129-20. They looked really good that whole game, and probably one of the better games they've played all season. That was a nice way to kick off the week. But then Christmas rolled around. Christmas and the dreaded Celtics. And the unthinkable happened. They kicked our ass. Now, I have to say, I expected to kind of get our ass kicked worse. Like I was kind of happy with the fact that the Lakers battled and we're still in that game, because I feel like the Celtics are the best team in basketball right now. And so like it sucks losing to the Celtics, but I felt kind of not as bad going away from that game. That it sucked, especially to lose on Christmas to the Celtics. But I felt like there was kind of a tiny sliver of hope, just because I thought we at least competed in that game, and we just played good against the Thunder as well. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but like at the time, like it didn't sting as bad. It stings a little worse right now, I have to say, though. Because we follow that up. We had a win over the Hornets, a nice dominating win, 133-112. But that's a game we should have won. That's they went out and did their job, and good. That's great. It was nice to get that win, but yeah, nothing like impressive, nothing that's going to give you confidence for this team moving forward. But then we went to the Timberwolves after that and played them really, really good, really close, and came up short at the end on what was really a terrible call. LeBron hit a last second 3-pointer that should have tied the game and should have sent it to overtime, but his toe was apparently just like right on the line. And like we've seen the video over and over. Like the only argument you can make, excuse me for being tongue tied a little there for a second, but the only argument you can make is that as he tips his toe down, it might have like grazed the line. And that's, I mean, like, come on, are we talking that like the 3-point line is now like a, like the goal line, like it just extends all the way up? I mean, this is like, it's such freaking dog shit. Such a terrible call. And I feel like the NBA has got a referee problem. They have really got a referee problem. Like, and it's not just because of this game. It's not just because of the Lakers. Like, I watch a lot of NBA games, and the officiating is terrible, and it's extra terrible this year. And especially in these close games, it's really hard not to feel like there's some shady stuff going on, and maybe some fixed games, maybe some point shaving again, and some gambling, Tim Donaghy kind of stuff, because that's certainly what it feels like, with that Laker game. And there's been a number of other games this year I've watched that were close, and yeah, if somebody had money on it, they could have cleaned up nicely. It's just a little bit suspicious. And I feel like the NBA has really got to do something about this. Like, I understand officials aren't perfect, but like there just needs to be some sort of better governing of these end of game calls, because it just seems like the Wild West, and it just seems like they can kind of get away with whatever. And a lot of missed calls, a lot of phantom calls. It's terrible. Like, the game tonight as well. Yeah. And moving on to the disappointing game tonight, that like the real capper on the end of the year 23, the year of Jordan. Thankfully we're about to move into the year of Kobe. Hopefully things will be a little better. But the Pelicans just kicked our ass tonight, wire to wire, and beat us 129 to 109. Yeah. This is a team that we just a few weeks ago beat by 44 points in the in-season tournament. And we came out, we looked like we didn't care. We looked like, we were more interested in heading off to New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street than we were about playing this game. And, I get it. New Orleans, fun town. Gonna have a great time there. It's not bad. Imagine, especially on New Year's Eve, but you got a game to play first, guys. I guess you forgot about that. So now we're heading into 24, the year of Kobe, at 17-17, 500. I don't know about the rest of you, but that kind of hurts. That just is really, really disappointing, because not only, last time since we spoke, not only are we 2-3, but we're 3-8 since the in-season tournament. 3-8. Now, I understand, like, this argument of, the hangover, in-season tournament hangover, whatever, but like, what the fuck happened to this team? Like, and what the fuck happened to our continuity? Like, this is so frustrating to me because we saw this team last year really, get things rolling and make a great playoff run and, had the best record, and I think the second best record in the NBA after the All-Star break, and the number one defense after the All-Star break as well. So like they gave us all this reason for hope, and then they go around and they make some pretty good moves in the offseason, at least what felt like pretty good moves. But obviously some of them got some issues with fit, possibly. Um, so there's obviously a lot of issues with this team, but like the frustrating thing is like this core, it feels like just was not allowed to kind of create any continuity or keep any continuity going. And I partly blame Darvin, because he is the one who wanted to, implement this 5-out offense. But I also blame the players, like, because, it shouldn't be this huge of a freaking switch, especially at this point in the season. Going from the 4-1 to the 5-out, like, yes, there's a lot of different things, and you guys need to communicate better. And like, watching this game tonight, this is the 34th game of the season we played here, and their communication is terrible, like both defensively and offensively, and it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. Like, I don't understand what the hell is going on. I feel like there's so much blame to kind of point around to everybody. Like, the only player on this team that I have not gotten mad at all year is AD. He's the only one. Like, everybody else on this team, there's been at least one or two moments where I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? And yes, even LeBron, yes, LeBron, the greatest, everybody's GOAT. Like, he's had some really frustrating points of this season. And, I don't want to hear all these excuses about, oh, yes, he's 39. This is season 21, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, he's still a max player. He's still getting paid as a max player. I'm sure he still holds himself to the standard of a max player. And I'm sure that, those mistakes don't sit too well with him either. So I don't want to hear a bunch of whining about how we shouldn't be holding him, accountable for messing up a little bit, because he has, but he has been phenomenal as well. So I don't want to, I don't want to completely like sit up here like I'm bashing Braun, but there were moments this year where you're just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And AD is the only guy in this team where I've not been, like, mad at him and just being like, what the hell are you doing? And like, he has been busting his ass, playing hurt, just doing so much for this team. And I feel like we're wasting it. We finally get a healthy AD. Everybody's been bitching for years about AD's always getting hurt. AD is always getting hurt. We finally get a healthy AD who's playing through, many small injuries at this point and doing great. And the rest of the team can't get their shit together. And I mean, it's a team issue at this point, because LeBron and AD, for the most part, have played really good. Reeves has given an okay, shot at being the number 3 guy, but he's been inconsistent at times. And then everybody else is just all over the fucking board. And I blame Ham for a lot of it, but I also blame the players for a lot of this. I mean, these are grown men that have been playing this game for a long time. And it's not like this game is super complicated. I do understand that there's probably a lot of like new assignments, and new roles to figure out with this new offense, but god damn it, like why this shit didn't get figured out in the off season is just baffling. It is absolutely baffling that we're here at this point, 34 games in the season, and you just feel like this team doesn't know who they are. Like that, like I look at this team and I see when they excel, I feel like their calling card is defense and points in the paint. And they're never going to be like a great shooting team. They're never going to be a great offensive team. They just don't have the personnel for that. So I think a lot of people have this expectation of, great offensive team, but this team is never going to be that great offensive team. Now, it could potentially. Now, I have to put emphasis on the word potentially because this is a big, they've shown flashes of it, but they haven't shown that they can really put it together. So yeah, I want to be very clear about this. They have the ability to potentially be an elite defensive team, but they don't seem to want it every night. And AD is the only one that seems to want it every night. It's really, really frustrating. And I'd imagine if I were AD, I would be pretty ticked off at my teammates, especially after tonight's game. Like he was really doing everything on defense, and everybody else was just kind of running around, just getting cardio. It was pretty disgusting tonight. Anyway, excuse me for a second. So it's just super frustrating that how we lost this continuity that we were supposed to get with a full off season, like because previous years I've been talking all this stuff about we've changed all these faces, tough to incorporate new faces and get all this, and but just so frustrating. And at this point, like I just feel like if they don't want it, like they're not going to get it. Like the West is too tough. You can't take this. You can't take the regular season, for granted. And I feel like that's what we've done since the in-season tournament is we took most of the month of December for granted. And I understand, like, we've had a tough schedule, like arguably one of the toughest schedules. I understand that, but it shouldn't be this bad. We shouldn't have gone 3-8. Just extremely disappointing. And that brings me to my next point, and that's the elephant in the room is Ham. Everybody on the timeline is freaking out, wants him gone, and I'm not going to absolve him at all. Like I said, he deserves plenty of blame in a lot of this. I still blame the players mostly because they're the ones out on the court that have to execute. I'm always going to be one who blames the players more because I feel like they carry more of the burden, and it's obvious, especially at this level, the difference between somebody who, goes out there and gives their all and just, doesn't have it against a better team and a team that just doesn't seem to give a shit a lot of time. And that's what this team is. This team is just, I've said it before, like they're like a spoiled teenager. They just they can't buckle down and apply themselves all the time. And it's really, really frustrating because you know it's in them. You've seen it in them, God damn it. But they just don't want to do it all the time. So, you know, Ham, I think we're stuck with him, unfortunately. Um, he's got a 4-year contract. So it's only going to be 2 years at the end of the season. So if we fired him at the end of the season, we still have to pay off, the remaining 2 years on his contract, and as well as pay a new coach. And I don't think this organization wants to do that. I think this organization, that's like, last resort. But, the reports that have come out this past week, that have leaked out from the organization, make it really seem like he is definitely kind of on the hot seat. And, he's, yeah, if they're not, thinking about it, like they may, yeah, they may be already planning it. But I don't think it's going to happen till probably after the end of the season. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna, it's gonna take us tanking into January, making this worse into January before they fucking fire him. And hopefully, oh, please, none of us as Laker fans want that. None of us want that. I mean, we all want Ham to succeed. As frustrating as is, and as much as people talk on the timeline about how they want him gone, I mean, at the end of the day, we all just want him to succeed. We want this team to succeed. So, yeah, I get it. It's frustrating, but like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be fired midseason. And I think for it to happen, things are going to have to get bad. And I mean, like worse than they are now. And I don't know if we want to endure that. Like, I think we've been through enough crap in the past 2-3 seasons. So it's rough, man. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk a little bit about, the starting lineup that everyone hates because it's not so great defensively when you have Vando and Cam in there. AD likes this lineup, and I'm personally kind of with him. Like, I do understand that this lineup does have its flaws in the half court offense, but it is by far the best lineup we can put together defensively, by far. And it has worked in spurts. Now, I do understand that, like, there's a huge argument about whether or not it's going to work in the playoffs. That, like, yeah, I do not deny. Like, when it slows down, you have to do a lot of half court. If Vando and Cam aren't hitting those threes, that half court offense is cooked. But when they are playing good defense and they can get multiple stops and you can get multiple fast breaks, those become more valuable than threes. So there is, more than one way to skin a cat, and that defense is really important. And that defense is really the calling card of this team. So, I think that lineup, although not pretty, it does lean into the strengths of this team. And I think a lot of Laker fans were going to have to kind of get used to that with this team. Like, if we want to win, we're going to have to win a lot of ugly games and a lot of defensive games. And, this team is just not an elite offensive team. And it's, trying to make it one is probably like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So, I think we got to face the facts on that. And as frustrating as that lineup is, there is some good to it. So it's everything's a trade-off here with this team. It's really in a frustrating point right now. So anyway, I'm gonna take a small little break here, play a little music here, and take a couple more hits here. But yeah, things kind of suck right now. 17-17 sucks ass going into 24. I did not want this to happen at all. Anyway, be back in a minute. I feel a little better now. Anyway, this takes me on to my next topic. Do I still believe in this team after having such high expectations to start the season? Where do I begin? Let's see. Let's start with the math, I guess. I picked this team to win 62 games this season. So now I guess at 17-17, that means that for the remainder of the season, they can only lose 3 more games. So, yeah, I'm cooked on that prediction for sure. Well, but that's part of why we do that. And I'm kicking myself over a lot of that prediction. I bought into a lot of the hype over the offseason. I felt, like I said, I mean, the run that they made last year after the All-Star break, I think is what gave me this false confidence. Is I felt like that, coupled with a full offseason to build some continuity, was going to be really solid, and it was going to be, I didn't think, yeah. But obviously I took it too far. Like, because even before the offseason, I remember saying, or actually I should say during the offseason, I was saying, whoever wins the West this next season is probably only going to win, by winning by 52 games. So I even went against my own prediction by, of picking the Lakers to win 62. So obviously I was drinking the Kool-Aid and drinking it pretty damn heavy. So, yeah, I'm here to eat the crow for that, for sure. Hey, it happens. But like, you can't tell me, like, with a healthy LeBron and AD and continuity, that theoretically this shouldn't be better. Like, just move 7 of those games over and we're 24-10 and looking sweet. Yeah, it's really, but that's also, the margin of victory is that close here in this league. And, maybe my prediction of, whoever wins the West is only going to win about 52 games. That's probably pretty close, or probably going to be a lot closer than, my Lakers winning 62 games for sure. So anyway, I'm here to eat a little bit of crow and tell you I was drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too much. And, I feel like I should have seen the writing on the wall a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like I was duped a little bit. And, I think it's frustrating because I've seen this team be better. I know they can be better. I've watched them be better. But yet they still come out here every few games and just play like they really don't care. Now, I do have to say this past week, these past 5 games, the only game that really frustrated me was tonight's game. That's the one that really is stuck in my craw, because that it really did not feel like they cared tonight at all. And I guess I'm having a hard time letting that go. But yeah, because when I think about it, they were making improvements here. And I even, after the Timberwolves loss, that was heartbreaking, especially, losing on such a bad call from the refs, and at least not getting that chance at overtime. That sucked. But I didn't feel that terrible after that game, because I felt like they competed, and I felt like they were starting to kind of get their identity defensively, because there were some great defensive sequences in that game last. Just fun to watch. And, for somebody who likes defense like me, I it's just, yeah. As you see, I'm kind of struggling for words here today, because I just had such high hopes for this team. I really did. And I still see it. I think there's still plenty of talent in this team, but there's obviously some sort of chemistry issue, something I can't quite put my finger on exactly. I think there's enough blame to go around for everybody. But there's just, like I said, I can't quite figure out, it'd be nice if we could have just one thing to blame, but there's multiple things to blame. And it seems like every time they patch a hole, fix something else, it's leaking in a new place. And yeah, so if I'm being honest, I don't know if I still believe in this team and the high expectations I have. I've really lowered those expectations. I feel like, we are probably a 6 to 8 seed. And, that's what we're looking at. And that's really unfortunate. I don't know if we're going to be able to make a run like we did last season, even if we get the 6 seed. Winning in the NBA is really, really hard. And I don't think people understand that, what they did last year, as the 7 seed, sure, we did get swept by Denver, but to make it to the Western Conference Finals as the 7 seed, I believe it's only happened once or twice before that in the entire history of the NBA. So it ain't an easy thing to do, to win those games on the road. And having that disadvantage, it's not ideal. And it's not especially when your star is 39 years old, even though I do feel like this is really become AD's team. I feel like LeBron is passing the torch, and I feel like AD is taking it and running with it this year. Now a lot of people may argue with me on that, and I'd be happy to argue with you on that. With the eye test, I feel I've seen good evidence that this is AD's team now, and you know, I'm, you know, I'm happy with that. I'm happy for looking forward to the future with him, and not because you know I want to get rid of LeBron. I love LeBron. I want to get another chip with LeBron. I want to get another couple chips with LeBron, in fact. But I also have to be realistic about this. He's 39 years old. There are a lot of times, especially this time of season, where he just wants to take some plays off and kind of play lackadaisical. And his passing has been pretty lazy this year in a lot of respects. And he's still been an incredible scorer, still just amazing what he's doing at 39. I'm not going to deny any of that. But we have to be realistic, folks. Like, what he's trying to do, there's a reason it has never been done. Like, winning in this game is really, really hard. This is a young man's game. The amount of running, the amount of wear and tear on your body, like, it favors the younger bodies. It just does. It always will. And, we just have to face the facts of that. And, I'm going to absolutely root for, LeBron to defy Father Time and continue to defy Father Time for as long as he can. It's fun as hell to watch. And that is one thing, I do have to say, I do take a lot of solace in, as frustrating as it is to be 17-17, I'm super grateful to both LeBron and AD for both coming to this franchise and reviving us and winning in 2020. That chip especially, like, means a lot to me, and I think to a lot of Lakers fans, because you guys really did win that, not only for us but for Kobe. And so that one's always going to be special, and LeBron and AD are always going to be special, and watching them is always going to be fun. And so, as frustrating as this is to be 17-17, I do still enjoy every time I turn on the TV for a game, getting to watch both of them still play and seeing what LeBron is doing in year 21. It's it's a nice solace to take, at least. And yeah, I'm gonna have to take a lot of shit on the timeline, with my prediction. It's probably gonna be a rough spring. My futures bet in Vegas that was hopefully gonna pay for Summer League, probably isn't gonna cash. But we move, man. I've been a Lakers fan for over 40 years, and I love this team. I love this franchise. Um, I still think this is the greatest franchise in all of sports, and it's the sports team that I'm the most obsessed with. And yeah, so I'm here for life, no matter what. As frustrated as I may get, I ain't giving this shit up. The Lakers have given me a lot of joy, and like I said, I want another one with LeBron and AD. In fact, I want at least like two more, please. It'd be great. But let's, if we don't get it, I can also live with that, because it's been great to have them on this team. And I just want to thank both of them, you know, because I appreciate what they've done for this team, and especially winning that one for Kobe. Wearing his jersey tonight because, of course, a few hours away from you know the year of Kobe here. So anyway, I'm going to get all emotional if I keep talking about Kobe. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I love you all. But I guess to sum that up, my expectations are tempered. So anyway, let's move on to a more positive thing. A glorious, glorious thing happened today that just has just filled my heart with so much joy. As some of I'm a Ravens fan. You know, this is my first year being a Ravens fan. I want to say thank you to all the Ravens fans for kind of accepting me. Like I don't claim to any legacy or anything like this. I'm purely a bandwagon jumper this year, and I appreciate you for letting me jump on this bandwagon. It's been one hell of a fun fucking ride, and Lamar Jackson is the motherfucking truth. Motherfucking truth. Like what he did today was epic and beautiful, and one of the reasons I love sports and watch sports. He was called out kind of this past week, when people were talking about MVPs, and a certain female reporter from Fox, I'm not going to name her name because she's made herself famous already. Everybody knows at this point. So no reason to make her any more famous than she already is for saying such a silly thing. But she, in her argument against Lamar, she basically said that he wasn't quarterbacky enough. He wasn't quarterbacky enough. Like whatever like to me, that tells me you don't watch Lamar. This notion that people have of him just being a running quarterback is absolute fucking bullshit. I have been watching him since he was a rookie because I think he is one of the funnest guys to watch, the most dynamic players to ever play the NFL. And he's a big reason that I chose the Ravens after quitting the Cowboys last year. The guy's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And he's not just a runner. He's an incredible passer too. And for a few years, he's been kind of struggling to kind of find a balance between being that great runner and still understanding when to pass and also not forcing passes. And he has had a phenomenal season. And so anyway, he gets called out and told that he's not quarterbacky enough. And so what does he do on Sunday? He throws 5 touchdowns, 18 of 21 for 321 yards, and a perfect fucking passer rating. A perfect fucking passer rating. Is that quarterbacky enough for you? Is that? Are you listening? I'm sure she's probably shut her Twitter down now. If you're going to talk about this stuff, make sure you're you're at least watching the games, and you've got some better defense than he's not quarterbacky enough. You know, Lamar takes enough bullshit from people as it is, from a lot of people who don't watch his games. And I am so here for him showing everybody up for talking shit. Like, freaking beautiful day today. So Lamar, shout out, man. You were amazing today. Like, MVP, and you look like a man who is determined and ready and hungry to win that Super Bowl. And man, again, Ravens, thank you for letting me on this ride. This has been fun this year, and I hope we can take it all the way to the Super Bowl, man. And you know, regardless, another thing, like, you know, like, appreciate greatness. Watching Lamar, like, I mean, what a goddamn season! What a goddamn season! What a game, and like, what a moment, man. Like, I'll be talking shit about this for years, man. Is that quarterbacky enough for you? Like, come on. Great fucking moment. This is why we watch sports, people. This is exactly why we watch sports. Like, come on. We love these fucking moments, man. This is the good shit. This is the good shit. You know, and he's now tied for the most games with a perfect passer rating in NFL history, with some pretty lofty company. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Kurt Warner, and Ben Roethlisberger. All of them have 3 perfect passer rating games each. And Lamar Jackson also has 3 perfect passer rating games. What the fuck you got to say about that? All you motherfuckers that have been talking this shit about him for his entire career, you need to shut the fuck up now. He has shown you that he is a goddamn quarterback. Show him some goddamn respect. Anyway, love you, Lamar. It's fucking beautiful today. It's fucking beautiful. Anyway, before I move on to the last one, let me take a little break and take a couple hits. Anyway, so in conclusion, Lakers are a fucking mess, and LeBron and AD are still fucking amazing. Lamar Jackson is the motherfucking truth. So I guess that means only one thing. Yes. So it is time for historical stoner circle. So anyway, since it's just me, you know, I'm just gonna throw out three guys that I would love to get high with. And so the three guys that I would love to get high with on today's episode are James Worthy, Willie Nelson, and Barack Obama. And actually, I'd love to do it all together. That would be great. I could have some great conversations with all three of them. So anyway, we can all dream, can't we? So anyway, in conclusion of this week, Lakers fans, I just like to say, hang in there. It's a long season. And I'm not saying that to, like bullshit you or, make you think that, oh, they're going to turn around, they're going to be amazing, we're still winning the chip. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hang in there because things can change and things can change quickly. We could fire Darvin tomorrow. We could, actually make a trade tomorrow. So there is some hope on the horizon. The season isn't completely shot, but we obviously need to kind of recalibrate. And hope for the best in the meantime. Because like I said, I don't think Darvin's going anywhere anytime soon. So we are kind of stuck with him. Unfortunately, no matter what we think about that, we're going to have to deal with the here and now. And the here and now is we've got Darvin and we've got a bunch of guys on this team that just still don't seem to know their roles and don't seem to give a shit some nights. So that's where we are. But, we're 17-17. The West is still tight. All hope is not completely lost. But this is a goddamn frustrating way to end the year. Let's not deny that. Yeah, this kind of sucks. So let's hope that, little 24 is gonna be a little bit better for all of us. So anyway, as always, it has been just great talking to everybody again. And peace out and stay zooted.
In the history of mankind, men have been called out and written up millions of times over, but only one man was written up for, and I quote, making barnyard noises and wouldn't stop. Rest in power, my friend. Washiko.